Hey, what's up everyone? This is Exip bringing you a warrior guide on how to solo 25-man heroic Lich King. Let's get started. So this is just my way of doing the fight. You can take from it whatever you want and optimize it for your playstyle. So here I'm just showing you the gear that I used in this video. I would recommend an item level of 530. You definitely want to use 2 DPS trinkets, they don't have to be good. As well as 2 pieces from the tier 15 protection set, so that you will have the bonus from that. And you know, the legendary meta helps as well. But in general, just compare your stats to mine, and if they match, you should be fine. Little rhyme there. For talents, I would recommend Enraged Regeneration as a must-have, but the other ones, you know, you can pick and choose whatever you want. I chose Shockwave in the tier 63 because it gives you a little bit more stability compared to Dragon Roar. And I chose Avatar over Bloodbath because it was easier for me to line it up. But you know, Dragon Roar and Bloodbath give you more damage, while the other ones give you a bit more control. So it's up to you. For glyphs, Revenge Glyph and Victory Rush Glyph are definitely must-haves. If you want more damage, you can go with the Shield Block Glyph. If you want more survivability, you can go with Endless Rage. What you see here is the beginning of the fight. You know, there's nothing special about it, just do your standard thing, pop all your DPS cooldowns, etc. But the most challenging aspect of this fight is probably the infest mechanic. The problem with infest is that you need a more or less reliable way to keep yourself top. Or in other words, if you don't have some reliable way to heal yourself up to 90 in a time frame of say 20 seconds, you are not able to do this fight. And usually a warrior is not able to do this fight. But as I said in the beginning of the video, with that 2-piece tier 15 prot bonus, you actually can pull it off. So there are 2 strategies how you can handle infest. Either you are topped off when the ability happens, and therefore you won't drop below 90%, hence the effect gets removed. The other way would be save your Victory Rush proc, and when the ability happens, you heal yourself up to 90% again, and therefore the effect gets removed as well. So as you can see, I use both strategies. What I like to do is keep myself top as much as possible, prevent as much damage with shield barrier as I can, and then save the Victory Rush proc, and when I drop below 70, I use that proc. Any excess rage I will use for shield block. As you can see in the video, I'm getting top now, and infest just happened. So I know that infest won't happen for another 20 seconds. So in that time frame you can actually maximize your damage with shield slam as much as possible without dropping below a certain threshold you feel comfortable with. So my threshold is about 60 to 70%, but you can go as low as 45%, because if you're sitting at 45% and you have a Victory Rush in the chamber, you can heal yourself up to 90% again with the glyph, and therefore will remove the infest effect. So shield block is just for improving your damage. Shield barrier, on the other hand, does a much better job of preventing the damage. Because think about it, a 60 rage barrier will probably stay for the whole duration, as you can see in this clip now, and prevent all the damage, whereas a shield block does only prevent 30% of that damage for the same amount of rage. And if you don't use the shield block glyph at all, there's probably no reason to use shield block, because shield barrier does a much better job of preventing that damage. So let's move on to other aspects of the fight, like the shadow trap. As you could see, I could avoid all of the shadow traps until now, but here I get actually double fucked. But you know, no worries, we are warriors. Nobody saw that. Another thing that I do to improve damage is maximize all globals on single target damage. So I'm not using Thunderclap or, well, I use Shockwave sometimes, but you know, I don't focus on AE damage. So we have reached intermission phase 1, and that's actually, these intermission phases are really critical. It's a good time to use your defensive cooldowns like Demoralizing Banner and Shield Wall and all that jazz. And the idea here is that you switch between Shockwave and Charge to deal with these ice spheres. As you can see here now, I will use Charge. And for the next ice sphere I will use Shockwave again. So, and stay on the boss as much as possible. Fish for these victory rush procs. And charge again. And sometimes you're able to do a little sidestep and use Thunderclap to kill off a sphere. But most of the time you will be silenced and are not able to do that. It's also the point where Battle Shout will run out. So keep that in mind. But, you know, actually since you're silenced you won't be able to recast it. So make sure before you go into that intermission phase that you recast Battle Shout. If you find yourself low after the first intermission phase, don't hesitate to use a Last Stand and Raged Regeneration combo, because he will cast Infest almost immediately after that phase, which can kill you sometimes, and that's really frustrating. In general, you will feel the RNG in these intermission phases the most, because you know you need the procs the most, but usually they proc the least in the intermission phase. That's just what I experience. Phase 2 is actually probably easier than phase 1. The defile gets added and Shadow Trap gets removed. And you know, the Valkyries, they actually do nothing at all since you're a tank. But I think it's a bit harder to manage the infest mechanic since the damage is a bit higher than in phase 1. That's partly because of the Raging Spirits that you have from the intermission phase. And you know that the Shambling Horrors are synced, so they will enrage all at the same time, like you can see here. And that will greatly increase the damage taken, but it will also increase your vengeance and therefore your DPS. That's also a reason why I keep the Shamblings alive the whole time. When I was progressing on him, I actually wiped twice because of the enrage timer. And on those tries I would kill the Shamblings and I was missing like 20% of the damage that I needed. And when I started to leave them alive and maximizing my globals on single target damage, it took me like 1 or 2 tries to get him down after that. So intermission phase 2 started here. And you know, it's just the same as intermission phase 1. Switch between Charge and Shockwave. That was the Shockwave. The next one I will be charging. Take the knockback. And for the next one, Shockwave will be up again. But here I actually get lucky and my Revenge Cleave takes care of the Ice Sphere. So I can save the Shockwave and we'll use it for this one. Oh, and by the way, the cat that you hear meowing, that's just my weak auras telling me your Thunder armor is running out. Since there's really no need to use Devastate, since Revenge will always be up, there are actually times where Thunder armor is in danger of running out since you have all these procs. So phase 3 starts and you will be transferred into Frostmourne almost immediately. So get ready for that and just cast Shield Barrier right before that. And you know, here's a good time to take a quick break. I recast Battle Shout here as well. And what I like to do here is use Berserker Rage and combine it with either Rallying Cry or Last Stand. And then use Enrage Regeneration to get myself top. After that is just running around and getting myself prepared to get back into the fight. And there will be a quick 60-second period where you can do damage. And as you can see here, I will use all my CDs. Since there is no infest in this fight, overall this phase is really easy. It's just these wild spirits, and what you do is when they are incoming, you cast Shield Barrier, you know, pull up some rage for some back-to-back shield barriers, and that should be fine. And when he casts Wild Spirits again, you should be getting ready that you will be getting ported soon. And or you can just look at your timer, because I don't have one, since Big Wix isn't working on this fight. Maybe I have more luck with Deadly Boss mods. But yeah, that's about it. That's the fight. Just rinse and repeat from that point on. And yeah, you should be getting this. I will fast forward to the end because there is actually a bug at the end if you do it this way. So when you bring him down to 10%, he will cast Fury of Frostmourne, and most of the time it won't kill you, but in this try it actually killed me, like you can see here. In a second. Here. Okay, here we go. I'm dead. And now the event is somehow buggy. And by that I mean that Tyrion gets stuck in his ice block and the event won't trigger. So what you have to do is just wait until your soul doesn't belong to the Lich King anymore. Release and then go back in. He will still cast his raise dead. And then you just have to kill all the shamblings until the event triggers. Even if you manage to survive Fury of Frostmourne, you still have to kill all the shamblings so that the event triggers, because with the shamblings up the event is buggy. Yeah, that's about it. That's everything I can tell you about this fight. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a comment. And if you find yourself having trouble with this solo method, there's also a way to two-man it, so if you want me to do a guide on that, please leave a comment as well. Yeah, that's it. Have a good one. Bye.